بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. When it comes to your day of zakah, so we mentioned that you have a hawl. You mentioned that you have your hawl. We mentioned and indicated too that it's almost as if it's to the minute. Your hawl is to the minute. In terms of calculating whether amounts that came in later, do you deduct it or do you add it? Or do you not look at it? Meaning money that you paid out, at which point do you still continue deducting? And we said it's almost to the minute minus sa'atain, minus 2 hours. If you don't know, what's the time you know? I knew at Asr I had it, then you deduct a couple hours if you could deduce it. If not, then you go with Maghrib on the day of Zakah. Maghrib on the day of Zakah, and our fuqaha say the hawl is taqribi, so you deduct 2 hours. You deduct 2 hours. Now, on the day of Zakah, you're going to calculate your zakah. There's two things to it. The fuqaha refer to it as ikhraj al-zakah, meaning taking out your zakah. But we're going to have two terms for it in terms of explaining what's going to come. So we're going to essentially separate them so that just for easier explanation. So one you have is ikhraj, and the other thing you have is sarf. Sarf means giving the zakah amount, the final amount, to the poor. So we call that sarf. The other thing I'm mentioning here is ikhraj. So what happens on the day of zakah? On the day of zakah, what you're going to do, and this is mentioned by Abu Ubaid al-Qasim bin Sallam, from one of the fuqaha of the tabi'een, Maymun bin Mahran. So he mentions the perfect, great way to calculate zakah. He says on the day of zakah, on the day when your hawl ends, right? And that is for those things that have a hawl, which is your trading assets, your cash, and those cash and gold and silver, and also your animals. But we mentioned the crops, etc. They don't have a hawl. So these things that have a hawl, it seems from the zahir kalam of the fuqaha that this thing we're going to call it ad, with this thing which is called ad and taqweem. This aspect of calculating your zakah, you have your day of zakah to do it, meaning you have until Maghrib to do it, even if we say your hawl is earlier. This aspect of calculating your zakah and doing ikhraj, you have it on the day of zakah. You have it in the entire day. That's what it seems from the zahir kalam, right? Sarf is separate. Sarf can be delayed a bit. Can be at certain times. So now how do you do your calculation of zakah? Very simple. This is what Maymun bin Mahran says from the fuqaha of the tabi'een. On the day of zakah, you count all your cash that you have with you. All your cash. Right? That means everything you have in your bank account, everything you have in your wallet, everything that you have stored wherever in your safe, everything that you have, all small coins, your notes, all your cash you calculate. You see how much is it. Right? Including your gold, including your silver, right? You include it, all it's worth. And we'll say worth because most people give zakah today in currency. So you'll see the worth of everything, right? And with the small fixed stuff that we mentioned. That's number one. Number two, you do your taqweem. You see the value of your trading stock, those things for sale. Then you get that amount. Let's say your cash was 100,000. Your trading assets were 50,000. Then you do number three, the debts that are owed to you in the manner we mentioned. Let's say that's 30,000. So now you have 180,000. So you add those three, your cash and gold, silver. Number two, you do taqweem, you do your calculation of the worth of your trading stock, and you add that, and debts that are owed to you. Then you deduct debts that you owe. Debts that you owe. And we spoke about those are the debts on the month of your zakah. Then you take that final amount. You see that final amount. Is it above the nisab or not? If it's above, 2.5% of that amount, you give it in zakah. You take that amount, you can divide it by 40, you can multiply it by 2.5% as you wish for calculations. But that amount you give, your wajib zakah is 2.5%. Anything extra is nafil. Your zakah is 2.5%, you give that, and so that is the amount now that you have. That's the final amount. Now, this final amount, now you separate it from your other cash, from your other monies. This is called ikhraj. So either you separate it, like you have cash, and you know this zakah, this amount of 5,000, you have it in cash, you put it one side. You put it one side. Or if it's all in an account, you make a note, for example, that is, I have 5,000, my zakah is 5,000. So it's known. So ikhraj is done. Right? Sarf can be delayed, so ikhraj is important. Even though the fuqaha, they refer to them as a similar thing. They refer to them as the same thing almost. So you've done ikhraj. You've kept the money aside. You've written the amount that you owe. However, that you can make sure that this amount is my amount of zakah and it's separated, or physically, literally or figuratively. And you know your amount of zakah. Then that's important. Two things before we continue with two important masail, and then we'd be done after one or two more things. And that is a mistake people make. They make two or three common mistakes with zakah of a debt. Some people calculate the zakah in the manner I mentioned, excluding the step of deducting the debt. Then they get that final amount. Then now they deduct the debt. So they get their 2.5%. Then here they deduct the debt. Then that's wrong. Your deducting of the debt that you owe is before you get the 2.5%. That's one thing. The other mistake people make, some people think if they owe a debt, there's no zakah on them. That is wrong. If you owe a debt, it doesn't mean there's no zakah on you. You have to do that which I explained. And that's in summary with regards to these masail. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to teach us that which benefits us, and to benefit us with that which He teaches us. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.